Good morning, everybody. So today we're going to talk about the second part of the study guide. This is to prepare for the test tomorrow, test on Thursday, May 14th. Now, I'm going to be a little open when you complete the test, but the goal is for everybody to take the test either tomorrow or Friday. I'm going to give you 2 days, 2 separate days to work on the test, especially since we're going to do a stream tomorrow. And I'm not sure if I'm going to post the test until after the stream. I might do that. I'll be posting a video along with the test tomorrow that should make everything a little bit more clear. The instructions, the scoring, stuff like that. I don't want to tell you it all now because I just want you to focus on the math. Tomorrow we'll focus on the tests. Again, when we get there, if something's not working out okay, like something's going wrong, just take a deep breath and relax. And I understand. I'm going to work with all of you. Okay, and that's the same thing about this test. Okay, if it doesn't go well for a lot of you, I'm open to things like retakes. Okay, but try your best on this first attempt tomorrow. Okay. So without further ado, I do want to get started because yesterday's video ended up pretty long. Today's probably will too. Not much I can do about it. And then one more thing, just before I dive into it, there might have been, I think there was a mistake or two on the original study guide I posted. So if you did it really early, you might want to go back and just kind of double check, try it again. It was just like 1 or 2 questions, but I've been very busy this week trying to get you guys everything you need, but I must have ended up rushing it a little bit, so I'm sorry. Mistakes happen. Just try my best, just like I hope you guys are. So let's look at the first question here. First off, make sure you write in your first and last name. Next, though, we're going to find the sum. It means we're going to add these up. 4.54 plus 2.16. So I know a lot of you are very confident with your decimal addition, but do be careful, especially on the test. On the test, always take a little longer than you normally would. Okay? Just I can't tell you. I mean, it's a test. You gotta treat it a little bit differently. Can't go into it just like a normal IXL, or if I get one wrong, it's not a big deal. Okay, you gotta treat every question wrong like a big deal. And if you do that, your test scores will go up. So you go ahead. You should be writing down your work for all of these. I suggest you do that on the test. Strongly suggest it. So we do 4 plus 6. We see everything's lined up here. We have the decimals lined up. You always want to make sure when you're adding decimals, you always want to make sure these are lined up together, just like that. So now we go ahead and add. 4 plus 6 is 10. Put a 0 here. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 1, 7. So you do, then 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay. So this is the correct answer. This is the one that most people were, who got this wrong, put. And that's probably just because they did 6 plus 4. And they're like, oh, okay, that's 0. 0.54 plus 0.06 would be 6.6, but remember we have this 1 here, so just be careful. All right, next question here. This is another type of decimal addition question you'll see. It's almost exactly the same as the last one. So you go ahead and you write in the numbers. Now notice 3.156. This says 1, 2, 3, 4 digits. 11.23 has 1, 2, 3, 4 digits as well, but the decimal's in a different spot. So with decimal addition, you make sure the decimals are lined up. You do 2, 3, and then we see we have kind of a missing number here. Well, you can just write in a 0, right? Because that doesn't change anything. Then we're adding these up. Sorry, this is the blank here. This is the blank, so just ignore that. Okay, that's what we're trying to find. So 3.156 plus 11.230. 6 plus 0 is 6. 5 plus 3 is 8. 1 plus 2 is 3. Decimal. 3 plus 1 is 4. 0 plus 1 is 1. So 14.386. I'll try to remember to put these in as I go along, because I want to catch and see if maybe there's another mistake I made. I don't think so, but never know. So it snowed 0.509 inches on Monday and 0.208 inches on Tuesday. How much did it snow on Monday and Tuesday combined? Okay, so whenever you have a question like this, read it out loud to yourself. Okay, so we're trying to find out how much it snowed all together, right? You guys should know this. Think about snow days. You hope for a lot of snow. Well, maybe if it snows a lot on Monday, or 0.509 on Monday, and then on Tuesday it snows a little bit more, 0.208 inches. Well, if there's enough snow after those 2 days, maybe you get a snow day. Now this would be a little low, but this will be the correct answer, and let me show you. Okay, and I kind of already know this without having to do much. Because I know if we add up these two numbers, well, I know we're going to add up each number place. We might have to carry over, but in general, we're going to have to add up the tenths place, where we have a 5 here and a 2 here. So about 0.5 plus 0.2 is going to be about 0.7. Well, this is nowhere near that, and this is nowhere near that. So it has to be B. But that might be a little advanced. Let's try just adding it up. So we have 0.509, 0.208. We have all the numbers lined up. We didn't have to fill in any missing zeros, so that's good. 9 plus 8, 17. So we write a 1 up here. 1 plus 0 is 1. 5 plus 2 is 7. Have a decimal. 0 plus 0 is 0. What do you know? That's what we said. Alright, so this next question is from an IXL assignment that you were supposed to do. So there is a video as well that I posted about this. If you look through the 6th grade playlist. If I have time today, maybe I'll post some links and stuff, but I'm not sure that I will, because I got to prepare for things tomorrow. So very busy week for me too. I know it is for you guys, but I'm there with you. So using the paths shown, how far is it from Centerville to Springtown? So from Centerville to Springtown. Well, Springtown is right here. Centerville is right here. So that means that the distance between them both, well, that's going to be from here to here. We might have to make a little stop at Fairview, but then we can go to Springtown. Now, all of this over here, Weston, Middletown, we don't care about that. So if you just do a little estimate here, well, we know 9 plus, 6.7 is pretty close to 7. So our estimate for this would be about 9 plus 7, so which is 16. That's our estimate. So we already expect this to be the right answer, but it's a test. Let's be a little extra careful. Let's actually write this out. We have 9 plus 6.7. So there's no decimal with the 9, but we do have one down here, 0.7. So let's add one in here and a 0. And then we go ahead and add up. 0 plus 7 is 7. 9 plus 6 is 15. So this is the final answer, 15.7. Very, very close to our estimate. So, and we see it's one of the choices. So that will be the correct answer. Find the perimeter of the rectangle below. Okay, so you guys do fine with these type of questions where I show you each side. But let's go through it. You could either break this into two pieces or two different, addition problems. There's a few different ways you can do this. I'm going to just line everything up. So let's see. Perimeter means we're adding up each of the lengths. So we have 3.2. And I'll use black. 3.2. 3.2. We have two sides that long. Then we have two sides that are 1.1. Okay, so now you can line everything up. Go ahead and add. 2 plus 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. Carry down the decimal. 3 plus 3 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. Plus 1 is 8. 8.6. And we see that's a choice. Now, find the perimeter of the rectangle below. Now, just because I don't write in what the sides are, doesn't mean that they're not part of the perimeter. Okay, so don't forget about these. If you forget about them, your answer is going to be wrong. It's going to be half of what it should be. So this side's 5.5 feet, and this side is 2.3 feet. So, and then it's just the same thing as the last one. So let's write it out. 5.5 plus 5.5. Maybe you do a little shortcut, and 5 plus 5 is 10. And then we have two halves that we're adding up, so half plus a half would be 1. So together, these are going to make 11. So that's how I would think about it. But again, it's a test. It's good to be very safe if you're not comfortable with something like that. It's fine to just go ahead and add up everything like we did for the last question. So now we have 2.3, 2.3, and we're going to add up this 11 plus 2.3 plus 2.3. Or we'll just add up like normal. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 3 is 13, plus 3, another 3, 16. Keep the decimal in the same spot. Carry over the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. Plus 5 is 11. Plus 2 is 13. Plus another 2 is 15. Okay, so 15.6 feet. Okay, so just make sure you're also not mixing this type of problem up with finding the area. You do, for the test, on your notes, I'd write it in I'd have a full page for perimeter and a full page for area. Something like that. Something that, like, don't mix these up and don't get this type of question wrong. This is something everybody can do. I saw how good you guys did on adding decimals. That's all this question is. Don't forget about these two sides. A lot of people got these wrong in both parts of the study guide. We need to work on it, because it will be on the test. Find the difference. So now some subtraction practice. 6.5 minus 4.3. So go ahead and line these up. Right? We're always writing these down on paper so that you don't make a mistake. 5 minus 3 is 2. Bring down the decimal. 6 minus 4 is 2. So you should get an answer of 2.2. I think this is, if you were one of the first few people to take this test, or take, not the test, the study guide, I think this one, there was a mistake where it wasn't given points. So I got that fixed. All right, next question here. Find the difference. It's already lined up for us, which is nice. So we just need to go ahead and subtract 6 minus 9. You can't do that. So we need to borrow. We need to take 1 away from this 5. So if you're taking 1 away from the 5, it has to become a 4. Because we're borrowing 1 over here. Now we have 16 minus 9. That's 7. We have 4 minus 4, which is 0. Then we have 8 minus 2, which is 6. 6.07. Okay. Getting a little behind on these. Okay. Find the difference. This one, again, it's it kind of made it so it looked a little easier than what it actually is. Not that it's any different than the others, but you do need to go ahead and write this out. Otherwise, you will likely make a mistake. So 3.99. Remember, a decimal has to be lined up, so let's start with that. So that means the 2 goes here, and the 1 goes here. But we're missing some numbers here, some digits. So let's write in a 0, write in another 0. And now we're going to go ahead and subtract. 9 minus 0 is 0. 9 minus 0 is 9. Sorry, 9 minus 0 is 9. 9 minus 0 is 9. 9 minus 1 is 8. 3 minus 2 is 1. So this should be 1.899. Now, maybe you just noticed, okay, well, there's nothing over here to subtract, so we're just going to subtract from the tenths place. Right? We have a 1. We have a 1 in the tenths place here. We have a 9 in the tenths place here, so we know we're going to take 1 away from that, and that'll give us an 8. So that's a little shortcut, but you have to be kind of careful with that until you have a ton of practice with these. Just be careful with that method. Alright, so a carpenter bought a piece of wood that was 450.659 centimeters long. Then she sawed 0.6 centimeters off the end. How long is the piece of wood now? Okay, so on the test, I'll probably give you something a little more straightforward for a word problem. Not that this is difficult, but you do need to be familiar with some of this vocabulary, which I didn't really think about when I made the study guide. So on the test, I'll try to make these a little bit easier for everybody to read. So a carpenter, that's somebody who cuts wood, works with wood, bought a piece of wood that was 450.659 centimeters long. So this is important. Let's highlight it. Something else that's extremely important is that she sawed 0.6 centimeters off the end. So we have to think about what does it mean to saw some wood? Well, some of you might know this, but others might not. So you actually go through and you cut a piece of wood, right? Just go through, you cut a piece. We cut this piece of wood off the end. So we have 450.659 centimeters. And then we're subtracting this 0.6 away. Now make sure the decimals are lined up. Right, the 0 and the 6 right here. Now, again, let's we can fill in some zeros here if we want. And what we're doing is that we're taking the whole log here, and then we got our carpenter who has maybe he has a saw. So you can see my art skills at work. Don't make fun of me. Okay, so we have the saw, and now we're chopping off, not very much, 0.6 centimeters is a very small number, especially compared to how long this log is. But, so it's just the tip. Just sawing off the tip of this log here. Wrong one. So we're sawing this off, so this piece here is falling down onto the floor. Right, this little piece we chopped off. So, sorry, a little bit of a tangent there, but I'm trying to show you that it's drawing pictures like this. If it helps you understand it, go ahead and do it. And you might not need it for this, but there's definitely going to be questions in math where drawing a picture can help a ton. So we have 9 minus 0, that's 9. 5 minus 0 is 5. 6 minus 6 is 0. Put the decimal here. 0 minus 0. And then there's nothing to subtract, so we'll just bring these down. So our final answer is this one. Alright, so this is another kind of map question, or more of a diagram type of question. So using the paths shown, the distance from Newton, like Isaac Newton, to Silver Grove is 16.2 miles. Now this question is how far is it from Arlington to Silver Grove? Okay, so let's see, we see Silver Grove again. But Arlington, that's a different city. So let's put that in yellow. Alright, so Arlington is right here. Silver Grove will be right here. Newton right here. So the distance from, let's see, Newton to Silver Grove is 16.2 miles. So that's saying that this distance from up here and then from down here, right, from Newton all the way to Silver Grove, we have to drive on the road, right? That distance is 16.2 miles. Maybe I should use blue, but actually I'll do this. Alright, well, there we go. You get the idea. So, anyways, it's 16.2 miles for the whole path here. So we need to go ahead and we can take away this distance here, and it'll leave us with the distance we want from Arlington to Silver Grove, from yellow to green. So we can take the whole distance, 16.2, subtract 9.1. We make sure the decimals are lined up. 2 minus 1 is 1. Bring down the decimal. 6 minus 9 you can't do. Borrow the 1. 16 minus 9 is 7. And then there's nothing left to do. 7.1 miles. And you should always kind of do a double check. Does this make sense? Well, if we know that this whole distance is 16.2, well, if we take 7.1 plus 9.1, okay, that's going to give us 16.2. So what we did was right. So let's continue. find the product. So now we're going to get into some decimal multiplication. 5.2 times 2.2. So these are very similar to just normal double-digit multiplication. In fact, until the very end, it's all exactly the same. 2 times 2 is 4. Ignore the decimal right now. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, now we need to multiply by the tens place, so we start with the 0. Now we do 2 times 2, that's 4. 5 times 2, that's 10 again. Go ahead and add these up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. 1 plus 0 is 1. Then we just bring down the 1. Now we need to count how many decimal spots we need. That's the only difference with decimal multiplication. See, we have 1, 2 digits to the right of the decimal. So we need 1, 2 digits to the right of the decimal. So that means our decimal is going to go right here. So our answer must be 11.44. Or in other words, 11 and 44 hundredths. Alright, same idea with this one. 4.31 times 9.2. So you line it up again, just like the others. Okay, in fact, you line up you can actually just ignore the decimal altogether. So let's line it everything up to the right. So we do 9.2 like this. Because it doesn't matter for decimal multiplication. So now we do 1 times 2, and that's 2. 3 times 2, that's 6. 4 times 2, that's 8. Now we're going to multiply by the tens place, so we need to bring down a 0. 1 times 9 is 9. 3 times 9 is 27. So we're going to put a 7 here. Carry over the 2. 4 times 9 is 36. Plus 2, 38. Now you go ahead and add these up. 2. 6 plus 9 is 15. So we put a 5 here. Put a 1 up here. 8 plus 1 is 9. Plus 7 is 16. Carry over the 1. 1 plus 8 is 9. We put a 3. So this is 39.652. Okay. So let me catch up a little. Yeah, I'm just going to keep going. All right, so what's a reasonable estimate for the product below? Okay. So you just want to round both of these numbers and then multiply. 10.01, well, that's really close to 10. 9.9 is also really close to 10. 10 times 10 is 100. And if you go ahead and work it out, you'll see that. Now I'm going to quickly pause the video here because I got to do something real quick, but I'll be back in just a second. Okay, I'm back. So anyways, let's continue. We need to find the product of these two numbers now. We just did an estimate. We said that this answer is going to be close to 100. So right off the bat, you can actually just cross these out, because these are nowhere near 100. These both are, but we'll have to actually do the work to figure out which is which, or what's the right answer. So we do 10.01 times 9.9. So with multiplication again, make sure all your digits are lined up, because we basically just ignore the decimal right now. 1 times 9 is 9. 0 times 9 is 0. 0 times 9 is 0. 1 times 9 is 9. Now we're going to multiply by the ones place now, or the next digit over. So we put a 0. We do 1 times 9, that's 9. 0 times 9 is 0. 0 times 9 is 0. 1 times 9 is 9. So now you just go ahead and add these up. 9, 9, 0, 9, 9. And you can already see what your final answer is at this point, but let's still go through this. There's 1, 2, 3 digits to the right of the decimal, so we need 1, 2, 3 to the right of the decimal. So our answer must be 99.099, or in other words, 99 and 99 thousandths. So that's our correct answer. Alright, find the area of the rectangle below. So we're finding the area of a rectangle. That means that we just need to multiply the length and the width. So 4.3 times 2.75. Let me do it like this. Now we go ahead and just multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. So we write down the 5 and carry over the 1. 7 times 3 is 21, plus the 1, 22. We need to carry over the 2. So we do 2 times 3, that's 6, plus 2 is 8. Now we're multiplying by the top number by 4 now, so we need to put a 0 here to start. Now we do 5 times 4, that gives us 20, so we write down a 0. I guess I can use a different color for this step. So now we're carrying over the 2. We do 7 times 4, that's 28, plus 2 is 30. So we write down a 0 here. And now we need to carry over a 3. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So you go ahead and add these up, and you'll get this, but we need to put in our decimals. So we have 1, 2, 3 digits to the right of the decimal, so that means these 3 will be to the right. So our decimal will go right here, and we see that that's the first choice here, 11.825, or 11 and 825 thousandths square feet. Find the area of the rectangle below. Again, this is another multiplication. Another multiplication question, because we're finding the area of a rectangle, so we multiply the length times the width. Right? That's what you do whenever you see area. So we have 11.2 times 20.6. But multiply. Usually better to put the number with more digits on top. They both have the same, so it'll give you the same answer. 2 times 6 is 12, so we put a 2 here. Carry over the 1. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 1, 7. 1 times 6 is 6. Now we're going to multiply by the next number over, but that's a 0. So these are all going to be zeros here, right? I don't even need to do the rest of the work for that step. Now we're going to multiply by the 2. So this is the third digit, so we need to start off with 2 zeros now. Now we do 2 times 2, and that's 4. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So you go ahead and add these up. I'm going to have to write small. So you get 2, 7, 6 plus 4 is 10. So you carry over the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Bring down the 2. So we have 1, 2 digits to the right of the decimal. So that means that we're going to need 2 to the right. So 230.72. find the quotient. Alright, so there's not going to be too much with decimal division, because I know we kind of struggled with it a little bit. But there may be one question, maybe one multiple choice, maybe one of the short answer choices will be have to do with decimal division. Alright, so remember, decimal division is just like long division. Okay, so 12, we have 12 here. 12 doesn't go into 1. Right, that's the first thing we check, so we go to the next digit over. Does 12 go into 15? Yeah, it does one time. So you put a 1 above the 5, right, because we're seeing if 12 goes into 15, so we need to put the 1 above the 5 since we're looking at the second digit over. Now we do 1 times 12, and that's 12. Subtract. 15 minus 12 is 3. Now at this point, you see, does 12 go into 3? No, it doesn't. So we need to bring down the 6. Does 12 go into 36? Yeah, it does. 3 times. 12 times 3 is 36. Let's see, the decimal needs to be in the same spot. 3 times 12, we said was 36. Subtract. You get a remainder of 0, so we're done. So our final answer is 1.3. Alright, let's look at this next one. So this is the other type of decimal division problem we saw. 2.6 into 12.48. Now remember, the first step for this is that we said we can't go outside if we're not a whole number. So we need to get rid of this by moving the decimal over 1 time. And move the decimal over 1 time here. So let's rewrite this as, since we moved the decimal over, now this is a 26 outside. Now it's whole, it's allowed to be outside. Now we move the decimal to the right of the 4, so 1, 2, 4, and then we set it to the right of the 4, so we put it here, and then an 8. Okay. Now, let's see. 26, and we're trying to see, does that go into 1? Nope. Does it go into 12? Nope, it's still bigger than 12. So let's see, does it go into 124? Well, I know 25 times 4 is 100. So this means that 26 times 4, and we're going to have an extra 4, will be 104. If I add another 26 to that, 26 5 times, well, we do 26 plus 104, 130. So it doesn't go into it 5 times. Sorry, I see it's getting a little cut off there. Let's see if I can. I'm going to rewrite these real quick. And again, I know this video is long. Hopefully you're just skipping to the parts that are useful. If you watch the whole thing, it doesn't hurt. I mean, it's the best thing you can do, but I understand. Okay, so this should be a 130. Now, this means that 26 goes into 124 4 times. So we're going to put a 4 above the 4, right? Because we're looking at 124. Now 4 times 26 was 104. Go ahead and subtract. 124 minus 104 is 20. Is 26 going to 20? Nope. So we need to get some help. Does 26 go into 208? Now we could keep looking at the rest of the multiples. In fact, let's just do that. We'll keep adding 26 to these. 26 times 7 will be 172. Sorry, 182. And then times 8, you're going to see, is 208. Okay, so that means that it does go into 208 8 times. So we'll put an 8 up here. Then you'd go ahead. 8 times 26 is 208. Subtract a remainder of 0, so we're done. Well, one more step actually. We have to make sure our decimal is in the right spot, so let's put it here. So our answer is 4.8. 4.8. Alright, so a few more questions here on the home stretch. Terrence wants some new games for his phone. Each game costs $2.99. How much would it cost if he bought, a little typo, bought 7 new games? Okay, so this is something I think you can all kind of relate to, and maybe in some aspect. Hopefully you're not buying too many phone games, but if you're buying a game and each one is $2.99, and we buy 7 of them, now to figure out the price, you would have to multiply $2.99 7 times. So you do $2.99 times 7. 9 times 7 is 63. So you put a 3 there and carry over the 6. 9 times 7 is 63. Plus 6, 99. Carry over the 9. 2 times 7 is 14. Plus 9, 20. Let's see, 14 plus 9. Maybe do 2 times 7, 63, carry over. So we should get 2093 here. Okay, so let me go through this again because I made a mistake. I just want to make sure this is more clear. 9 times 7, 63. So we put down a 3 here. We carried over the 6. Now we did 9 times 7, which is 63. Add the 6. That was 69. So we didn't want to carry over this 9. So hopefully you caught that and you were yelling at me in your living room or wherever you are. This should be a 6 here. Okay. So now we do 2 times 7, which is 14, plus a 6, 20, 93. All right. See, this is a long time for me too, but it's worth it. All right, so Lana wants to buy a notebook for everyone in her class. She pays $54.30 for 30 notebooks. How much did each notebook cost? Okay. So it's $54.30 for all 30 notebooks. So if you want to figure out how much she's paying for each one, we need to divide. Okay, we have 54.30. And we're trying to see how many times does 30 go, or we're trying to divide this 54.30 into amongst the 30 students. Or sorry, yeah, the 30 notebooks. So we're students, right? We're buying for everybody in the class, so however you want to look at it. So anyways, does 30 go into 5? No. Does 30 go into 54? Yes. Goes into it one time. One time is 1 times 30 is 30. 2 times 30 would be 60, which is too big. So we do 1 times 30, 30. I should have picked a better spot for this. 54 minus 30 is 24. In fact, let me do that over here. All right, so 30 into 5430. We said it goes into it one time here. 1 times 30 is 30. We subtracted, and we got 24. Now does 30 go into 24? Nope. So you have to bring down the 3. Does 30 go into 243? I mean, it does. I'm not sure how many times though, so we're gonna have to figure that out. So let's look for some good starting points, so that we don't have to multiply everything out. I know 30 times 10 would be 300. So it's going to go into it less than 10 times. Let's see. If I take away, let's see, times 9, we'd take away 30. Times 8, then it would be taken away 60. So let's just count down from here. So times 9, take away 30 from this, because it's 30 less, because we're multiplying it one less time. So 30 times 8. Oh, take away 30 again, that'd be 240. So it looks like it goes into it 8 times, with 3 left over. 8 times 30, 240. That shouldn't be a surprise, right? Because we know 3 times 8 is 24, so 8 times 30 would have to be 240. Go ahead and subtract to get 3. Now 30 doesn't go into 3, but it does go into 30, so we need to bring down the 0 for help. 30 goes into 30 exactly 1 time. So now just need to write in the decimal and we're done. So $1.81 per notebook. All right, what is 25% of 40? In fact, let me just do these both. So this first one, actually for both of these, the first step is the same. You want to convert your percentage to a decimal. So 25%, we have 75%. Now I know to convert it to a decimal, we need to move it over 2 times. Move the decimal over 2 times. Do the same thing here. So this means that now the decimal is to the left of the 2. So this is equal to 0.25. And this will be equal to 0.75. And then from here, you can just multiply 0.25 times 40. So you can work that out. But we've already done a lot of decimal multiplication. Kind of want to show you how you can do this with fractions, because these problems are actually easier with those. Now you could do it with decimals, right? That's how I kind of showed you. But you can also do it with fractions. Because remember, 0.25 or 25%, well, this is really 1/4. And this is really 0.75. This is like 3/4, so this is like 3/4. So you could actually just take 40 times 1/4, which is really 40 over 4, or 10. And then over here, we have 3/4 times 20. Well, it's really like times 20 over 1. 20 times 3 is 60. 1 times 4 is 4. 60 over 4. I know 60 over 2 would be 30, so 60 over 4 would be 15. So you can solve these each with fractions, or you could actually have gone ahead and multiplied using decimal form, right? You can convert this 25% to a decimal, and then you could do 40 times 0.25. That'll give you the first one, but you'll get, in the end, you're going to get 10, you're going to get 10.0. And then over here, if you could do 20 times 0.75, but again, that's going to give you 15. Okay, so last question here. This is a little extra practice on yesterday's study guide. But here we go. So we need to find the area of the hole outside and then subtract the area of the hole. So to find the area of the outside, you need to multiply the length and this width here. So we'll do 10.1 times 7. 1 times 7 is 7. 0 times 7 is 0. 1 times 7 is 7. And then we know that we had one decimal spot, so we need one decimal spot here. Oops, sorry, 1 times 7 is 70. So you get 70.7. That's the outside of it. And then you subtract we have to subtract the whole. Now the whole is 4 times 4, 16. So we need to do 70.7 minus 16. Remember, with subtraction, you want to line up the decimals. Subtract like this. 7 minus 0 is 7. 0 minus 6, you can't do it, so we need to borrow. 10 minus 6 you can do, that's 4. 6 minus 1 is 5. So you get an answer of 54.7 square feet. Alright, so I'm going to end the video here because it is way too long. Hopefully it was very helpful for anybody that needed help on this. So please take care, and I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow.